January, just beginning of January, changes that are occurring in PJAS. They've all started in the Pittsburgh region. They're the ones that jump-started on everything last year, and now they're implementing it throughout all the regions in Pennsylvania. So, all right, the first thing I want to talk about was registration. If your kids have talked to some of the 8th graders, they used to do it themselves. This year, I've taken it off their shoulders, so it was one less thing for them to worry about. However, there is an email that is sent from PJAS, not from me. It will say it's from PJAS, to your inboxes. Some parents weren't receiving it. We have found, Mr. Emmett has found it in his junk mail. So check your junk mail box if you haven't received that. If you haven't, just let me know. Send me an email from the school website, stacy.beckman@stmichael1.org. The email is on the school website to let me know, so I can let PJAS know that emails are not going through. They have pushed back the registration date because they are having so many difficulties this year with it. They've changed it from years past, just registering. So they have postponed that, but I need to know as soon as possible if you do not receive those. They were all sent out a couple days ago, so if you haven't gotten one, it will say it's from PJAS. Let me know, please, so I can fix that and make sure your kids are registered.
Is that going to their email or ours?
Most of them gave me the parents' emails. Yeah. All right, so one of the major changes, and if your child is a 7th grader, they haven't done this before, but in the past they've all talked to 8th graders or they have older siblings, or it might just be their first time. They, before in the past, have only used transparency slides. This year they decide they also want them to have PowerPoint. Eventually they will be eliminating transparencies. This year they will be using both at regionals. Unfortunately for the students, they will not know what they're using until they find out what room they're in for regionals. State, if they make it to states, will only be PowerPoint though, so they will have time to do more practicing with PowerPoint. But for regionals, we won't know until they get there. So that's one thing. They are going to end up being eliminated right now. This year it is at the state level. Hopefully, they're hoping by next year they'll be completely taken out.
Will they have a PowerPoint presentation ready? Like, you know,
The students?
If you're not going to know until you get there?
Yes. All the students have them almost completed already. They all got them done in about a week and a half. I will bring them all. They will all have a flash drive just with that PowerPoint on it, which will be provided from the school. So you don't have to run out and get another flash drive just for this. And I will have one that has all their presentations on it. And when we go there, they will have their transparencies and their PowerPoint in hand. And they will have time to get the PowerPoints up and going. They will be more understanding this year since it is last minute and since they haven't done this before at our level, at our regionals. So we're hoping they will be more understanding. And the way to make sure everything works, because one question I'm sure you're asking is the kids already have troubles uploading things to these computers and then saving them at home and back and forth because of all the different versions. Once the students are completely done, they will all save them to the student share file, which I have access to. I will then put them all on my teacher flash drive, and I will convert them all to PDF. PDF works on every computer. It looks the same on every computer. All the computers that we will be using there have the Adobe reader that we will need for PDF. So that's how we're going to take care of that problem. Everything will be in PDF. Every student there, their PowerPoint has to be in PDF. If it isn't, and they bring a regular PowerPoint, they automatically go down to a 2. Because they want to make sure every single PowerPoint opens. So that's how we're going to take care of that. The change is due to a statewide lack of overhead projectors. I know usually before in the past, each school had to bring at least 3 projectors. And a lot of schools during renovation start throwing them out because they're outdated and we're getting smart boards or Elmo projectors. We have just scrambled making sure we had 3 just in case we need to bring one. We're probably not going to bring like 1 this year though, just because we're not using as many. So because of that technology being more outdated and this being something that relates to science, technology is science, so we have to update it and keep our students updated with the times so they don't fall behind when they get to high school and they're only using these types of presentations. So that's the main reason why they're getting rid of it, to keep everyone on the same level and to bring everybody up with technology and stay up to date with the science that's out in this world. Alright, as I mentioned before, students will carry the presentation to the regional meet on a flash drive. This cannot be the flash drive they already own because it has other information on it. They will automatically go to a 2 if there's anything else besides their PJAS project on it. That is why the school is providing it to the children, because it's not fair for them to have this sprung upon them last minute and go out and buy a flash drive for one project on it, when we all know flash drives can hold many and hundreds of things on them. So they will all have a flash drive, and like I said, I will have a master one to make sure all the presentations are on there in case somehow in the mix something does get saved incorrectly. And as I mentioned, I as the sponsor, and Ms. Sagans is also helping sponsor this year to go because of chaperone requirements that have changed. We'll have a label we'll have a flash drive that says on it Region 9, St. Michael's School, and everyone's flash drive will be on there. And this is just so you know how your kids, if they're working on it at home, how it should be saved, is their full name, first and last, no nicknames, and then their project title. If it's not saved that way, once again, as harsh as it sounds, they automatically go down to a 2. I will be checking all of these before I save them. But if you're making, and I've been making sure in class, but if you are at home and they're working on them, can reiterate, are you making sure you're saving this correctly? That will make it a lot easier when it comes to the end and I'm going through and checking. It'll make things a lot smoother for the students and less frustrating for them. The first place regional winners will submit their presentations online prior to the state meeting. So all their PJAS presentations will already be sent to states. States will already have them all in their system before we get there. We will still be bringing our flash drives just in case, because we are dealing with technology. They could get there and it not be pulling up, so we need the flash drives. But everything will already be there and taken care of before they get there. So that's one nice thing. The problem though is uploading these and sending them out and making sure everything gets there. So if your child does receive a 1 and we get to this point, just help them realize that it's okay, it's technology, you have it on a flash drive. I don't want anyone getting frustrated or thinking that they're not going to do well at states because something's not uploading correctly or being sent there. Alright, one question that has been asked is if your student, if they have it on their laptop, can't they just bring their own laptop and plug it in just like this? Unfortunately, they are not allowing that just because of the back and forth. So many other students being there, they don't want to be liable for anything happening to your own personal laptop. And they feel like it would give certain students an unfair advantage because it's something that they're used to when other students are using a computer they're not used to. What guarantees my students' presentation will operate on the presentation computers? This is backtracking to when I was talking about the PDF file. As long as it is in PDF, it will open. The students do not have to worry about converting it into PDF. I will be doing that all. So all they have to do is work on regular PowerPoints. I know some are getting nervous. Oh, I'm not doing it in PDF. That's okay. They have to do it in PowerPoint first, and then we'll convert it to PDF, okay? Like I said, all files that are saved under PDF will run on any computer. Students are not permitted to provide handouts to the judges. I'm not 100% sure how familiar all students are with PowerPoint, but you can print out your slides ahead of time for the judges to look at, so they don't, no matter what it looks like up here, if it's hard to see or if there's too much on a slide, they have it right in front of them, which makes it easier for them to read. They're judging the students on how well they put these PowerPoints together. Are they using too much information on the slide? Are they using the right size font? Are they just making all the slides bright just because they're young and like bright colors that the judges can't read? So they're grading them on how well and how professional these are looking. And so handing out handouts would give students an unfair advantage in case it is hard to read their slide. From at the back of the room, a judge would be more apt to just look down to see what it says, rather than actually reading what's up here. Students are still not permitted to use three-dimensional presentations or objects, or bringing in an example of something, or a trifold board. Now, if they take a picture of something they've done, we can upload it and put it on the PowerPoint. They just can't physically bring anything in. So all they have is their transparencies and their flash drive, and that's it. So if your child has done something and they want to take a picture of it, they can do that. Like I know with Leah, she can take a picture of the fabric swatches or the shirt she used, and we could upload them into the PowerPoint. But no actual 3D objects. That's always been a rule, and they're not changing it. The presentations are not permitted to be automatic audio-visual presentations that run without student input. What that means is with PowerPoint, I don't even have to be here. I can record my voice on these slides and play it whether I'm here or not. They don't want the students to do that. They want them to be there, everyone in the same situation, everyone just as nervous, presenting at the same time. Rather than some students, if they record their voices out ahead of time, where they're more calm and more, after a lot of practice, once again, it could give some students an unfair advantage. So they want to make sure everyone's in the same situation. This is just, once again, if your child is working at home on their PJAS project. This is a color wheel they gave us. When picking colors, it's nice to pick ones that actually complement each other. So when you're looking at this wheel, anything that's across from another color complements. Like across from purple is yellow. So if they had a purple slide, they could use yellow font, or if they had a yellow slide, they could use purple font, and it would stand out and it would catch the judge's eye. Now if you're using a purple background, you don't want a burgundy font. It's going to be too dark and too hard to see. It's so close to the next one. So we have been using this in class, and I have been pulling it up so they can use it. Less is more, and encourage that with your students. A lot of them want to make this really pop and really pizzazz, but the judges don't want that. They want less is more. I've been encouraging the students to use a pastel background just because it's not as harsh on the eyes as the white background, but we don't want really a lot of bright colors. Like I said, the judges may not share their passions. We have a lot of students that like a lot of colors, and that's good. It's nice to like those things and to be creative and artistic, but the judges might not think that. We also have some judges at the state level who are colorblind. If they make it to states and they have a judge who is colorblind, and they just have those certain colors that they can't see together, a certain background and a certain color on it, your child's going to get points deducted because the judge thinks the judge obviously knows there's something on there, but they can't read it. So there are red, green, and blue-green color blindness in some of the judges at the state level. And obviously, for their own privacy, we don't know who they are, but I've been telling the kids, if they make it to states, they could have a judge that is colorblind. So be careful with their color choices. Like I said, less is more. one rule that they've been using, if you can't do it with an overhead transparency, you can't do it on the PowerPoint. Just because some of the students will be using transparencies at regionals. So once again, to keep the playing field level, everything fair, if you can't do it on transparency, they can't do it on the PowerPoint. No special effects and words running in and sparkling in. No, because everything comes up at once, just as if a student would lay down the transparency at one time. No sound, no video, no animations. Like I said, why the restrictions? Because some of you might think that would help your child or they would enjoy it more. As I said, the PowerPoint application is not uniform across all PCs. I have the old and updated version on my laptop. Mostly laptops just have the old version. What I can do on mine, they can't do on theirs. So once again, that gives me an unfair advantage over those students. And once again, it's mostly just the older version of PowerPoint versus the newer version of PowerPoint and what you can do on it. And to make sure it saves on the PDF correctly, if you have all those animations and sounds, when you transfer it over to the PDF, then things can get a little messy. So it's best to just keep everything as plain and simple. Plain and simple as can be. Alright, so what about the transparencies? A lot of students are pretty upset or coming home saying it's not fair, I'm doing double work. You know, I have to make a PowerPoint and the transparencies, and I'm sure you've heard it. I know I've heard it in class. They will still have the transparencies and the flash drives. And like you said, you might be thinking, isn't that too much work? They're only in 7th and 8th grade. That's a lot for them to do. But I'm going to exit out of this really quick to show you how quickly they can change their PowerPoints into transparencies. We've all started with the PowerPoints and then we're making transparencies. All I do is click one button there and I get rid of my color background and make it white. And they save it as transparencies. That's it. So they're not doing any double work or extra work besides clicking a couple buttons. So as you see, that was pretty easy. And all your kids are completely capable of that. And while I was trying to remember it, some of them were finding it before I remembered how to do it. If your child does get to the state level, the state has changed some of the chaperone requirements, and we might make some personal changes ourselves just to make it easier. Because of the situation at Penn State in the past, there has to be more parents there. The level is really high. They're wanting at least one parent for every 5 children. We've been discussing, and it's in the talk of making it more like History Day when the students go, where a parent actually comes with them, and we would get a hotel room, and St. Michael's will have their own hallway, and we would take the bus in the morning to Penn State all together. The students will still get their meal tickets so they can eat lunch on campus, and then travel back at night and have pizza, or they could have dinner on campus one night if they like to, and then come back. That's just to make it easy and safe. Once again, when the students are there, they would be staying in college dorms with other children, which isn't, eventually they're going to do that anyways, but with all the situations that have been going on, we decided that we're probably going to make it more like U.S. History Day, just for the safety of your children in mind. And I know they'd all love for you to go see them, especially if they made it to States. They're all so excited. So that's more will be coming with that once we find out who comes, who makes it to States. Closer to regionals, we're making a final decision. That way, as soon as they're done with regionals, if they got a one, I can call the hotel and block a set of rooms. They've also been talking about research plans that they have to do. I know when I told them they had to type up a research plan, they were not, once again, very happy. Their research plans are nothing difficult, they're not hard. It's a simple outline only going from A, B, C, and D. And that's it. Only 4 things they have to put on it. And all those pieces of information, they've already had to turn into me for points. They just have to let the people know ahead of time what their question is that they're trying to answer, what their hypothesis is, their procedure, and their bibliography, which they've been having to keep track of since before Christmas break. All of that was done. So now all they have to do is put it in a little outline. 8th graders did it today, and it took them like 20 minutes, and they were done. And I just had to send that in ahead of time, so the people at PJAS can help put them in the right rooms in the right areas and make sure all the students are following the rules. Alright. If you would like to be more involved, we do have a spot for you. And this little advertisement in here. PJAS is looking for volunteer judges. It is completely voluntary. I understand you as parents might be a little weary about it. What if I have my own child in my room or things like that? PJAS does do their very best to make sure that doesn't happen. If you would like more information about that, to look it over, think about it, let it simmer, sleep on it before you say no. I do have little packets of what the responsibilities of a judge. You'll have a rubric. They'll give you a rubric, and you score them 1 to 5. 5 is the highest. And then you turn those scorecards in to one of the technicians. They will be a younger child, usually in 6th grade, who keeps time for the students presenting. And they take them to the judge's room, and then they tally everything up for you. They do prefer, if you judge, that you get to pick what category you like to judge. There are 10 categories in PJAS, just name a few. There's botany, chemistry, biochemistry, mathematics, computers, physics. That's 6 of them. But there's other ones. Behavioral. If you have any interest in those, let me know. I can give you the list of the 10 categories. Your children, a long time ago, were supposed to give you a packet that had those 10 categories listed in them. I know they're middle school, so sometimes not everything makes it home or makes it onto the table. But if you are interested and you have any background in anything and you'd like to help, it would be greatly appreciated. And it would be, once again, a lot of fun because you'll get to be there. But you won't be necessarily with them, so you'll still be a cool parent because you're not with them all the time. So if you would like one of these to look over or know someone who would like one, you can grab one. I'll have them. These are the dates. Regionals is Saturday, February 23rd. State is at Penn State, Maine. It's May 12th through 14th. That's a Sunday through Tuesday. We will leave Sunday in the afternoon to get there in the evening because there's meetings at night for our technicians, our judges, our sponsors, and our presenters. They all have meetings, and then they come back, and the presentations start Monday. And they go into Tuesday with the awards on Tuesday. Your students will have a set room that they will be in either all morning or afternoon. So they won't just be roaming around or walking around. They have a set place they have to be if they want to do well at states. This is our region's website. It's www.pjasix.org. This is what it looks like. Here are the links to register. You do not have to worry about this. All the students are already registered. You just have to watch out for those emails, check your junk mail. Here it has the dates for everything that's going on in case you forget, lose this paper, or the students lose all the papers with the dates on it. You can mark it on your calendar. There's contact information for directly to PJAS, different forms, information about the state competition, forms for if they make it to state, which we would fill out in class. But basically under there is the rules, what the students are expected to do, how we expect their behavior to be. And then here it says project information at the very bottom. It tells you about the different types of projects there are and the 10 research categories, which are behavioral psychology, biochemistry, biology, botany, chemistry, computer science, earth and space, ecology, mathematics, microbiology, physics, and zoology. So all of that's at that website. There's also another website. It's PJAS.net, just PJAS.net. That's for the overall PJAS. So you'd have to search for our region's information, but they have a broad overlook. They have the judges' responsibilities on there if you'd like to look at it online, the presenters' responsibilities, what we expect from our students, the sponsors, what you should be expecting from us, and information about the people at the state level and what you should be expecting for them to do for your teachers and your students. So thank you very much for coming tonight. And does anyone have any questions about anything talked about or not discussed? And if I don't have an answer, I will get you an answer.
So registration closes tomorrow.
No, it does not. It was pushed back because of all
I
the
just read that and I
difficulties.
went, I missed something.
They haven't changed it on their website because their website isn't working and registration isn't going through. All our students are already registered, so we're just waiting for the emails, which I've already emailed them twice today, letting them know. Parents aren't getting the emails, so they said, well, let me try this. And parents still aren't getting the emails. Have your students also, if they have an email, check it just because I asked them for an email, they wrote it down, so I can't be 100% sure if it is theirs or if it is yours. I didn't go into those details, so make sure you have them checked as well. Most of them, they asked what I preferred, and I said the parents' emails, just because I figured it would be the best bet, but once again, I wouldn't be able to tell which one they gave me. I wanted to try to put them all under my email so I could just take all that burden away and just deal with it myself. Because I know for U.S. History Day, Mrs. Krem's able to do that. But for PJAS, they won't. They want one email per child. So, or else I would have tried to take care of that for you guys so you don't have to worry about it, but they won't let us. So just stay in contact with me and let me know. Because as long as I keep badgering them, they can't close it because they know I've sent the information out and we haven't gotten it and it's on their end. So just keep me updated so I can keep letting them know. I know some parents are finding it in the junk mailbox though. Any other questions? For states, we will have to register them for states, which once again, we will take care of here, and I'll let you know when to expect an email confirming it. But I must say, I'm really proud of all your students for all these changes that have been coming up. I showed Mrs. Blair, they're all dated January 4th, 9th. I got one new change on January 14th. Your students are doing very well with all these changes. And they are just rolling with all these punches and excelling and going above and beyond what we expected. Like I said, they're all almost done with their PowerPoints except adding up their works cited pages because none of them like to do that and make citations. But besides that, they're all done. And they're all done writing their speeches. Now I just have to edit them and they fix them. That's it. And we're going to start practicing February 1st. and going through, so they have all that time to practice, go through their slides and work on their presentation. We might even borrow the camera so we can record them and have them watch how they present. I know that's something I hated to do in college, but it really helps you learn. No other questions? And once again, your students are allowed to stay after school as long as they bring in a note from you. I will stay after school with them. And we can work on PJAS. I've already had some students doing it. If you'd like to encourage your child to do that, you may go ahead. As long as they have a note from you, they can stay after school and work on it.